Good Shepherd. Salem and I and Ember are here in my office. And we want to share with you a story about the person who invented the most awesome way to keep cool when it's hot outside, like it is today, the Super Soaker. The inventor was Lonnie Johnson, and this book is called Whoosh, Lonnie Johnson's Super Soaking Stream of Inventions. Every day brought a challenge for young Lonnie. The challenge of finding space for his stuff. 6 Johnson kids were squeezed into their parents' little tiny house in Mobile, Alabama. Lonnie would have loved a workshop of his own, but there just wasn't room. There was nowhere to keep his rocket kits and his bamboo shooters and his erector set or his go-kart engine or all the other things that he found in his dad's garage or from the junkyard. He loved building and creating, and ideas for inventions just kept flowing. One of the things that Lonnie was really good at making was rockets. He made them from scratch. He even made his own rocket fuel. One day when the rocket fuel caught fire in the kitchen, Lonnie's mom didn't make him stop. She just said, "Take it outside." He wanted to spend his life designing things, building things, getting them to work. He wanted to be an engineer. But one day Lonnie took an exam that said he would not make a very good one. His dream had been challenged. Lonnie was discouraged. But on the other hand, he knew that whoever had graded his exam had never met Linux. You see Linux behind him? What is he? Right, it's a robot. Inspired by a TV show, Lonnie had built his own robot. He made it out of scrap metal and named it Linux. Compressed air cylinders and valves allowed Linux's body to turn and its arms to move. The switches came from an old broken jukebox. He used a tape recorder to program Linux, and as a bonus, the reels looked like eyes. He wanted to enter his creation in a science fair, but he just couldn't get the transmitter to work. Without it, Lonnie couldn't send commands to his robot. Science fairs came and went. He missed one after another, and then he got an idea. He may or may not have asked his little sister before he borrowed her walkie-talkie, but it fixed the transmission issue, and he was finally able to send commands to Linux. And so they went to the University of Alabama and entered Linux in the 1968 science fair that was going on there. Just 5 years earlier, African-American students weren't even allowed in the university. So it must have been a challenge to be in a place in a competition where he didn't necessarily feel he was completely welcome. But against all the other teams from all the other schools in the whole state, Lonnie's team won. First place. Eventually, Lonnie went to the Institute at Tuskegee and earned his engineering degree, and he helped to design the power supply for the Galileo orbiter that went into space and took really important pictures of Jupiter and its moons. But when we started this book, we were talking about ways to keep cool, especially the Super Soaker. And so the rest of the story is about how Lonnie's had just so many ideas just kept on flowing. They flowed whether he was working with hundreds of people at NASA or just tinkering in finally his own workshop. Now, Lonnie knew that the world's millions of refrigerators and air conditioners needed a new cooling system, one that didn't use R12, which is a chemical that's really bad for the environment. He had an idea using air and water and air pressure instead. So to test his idea, he made a pump and a nozzle, and he connected them to his bathroom faucet, turned on the faucet, turned on the pump, and whoosh! The stream that blasted across the bathroom was so powerful it created a curtain-swirling breeze. And then Lonnie had an idea for another invention. This would make a great water gun. He had to make the parts, and he had to glue the parts together into a prototype, and he tested out his strange-looking squirt gun at a picnic. "Does it really work?" asked a man. "Sure," said Lonnie. "You want to see?" Lonnie worked the pump, which squeezed air into a chamber, and when he pulled the trigger, the water swooshed out in a giant whoosh. Now, for a water battle to be a fair fight, there couldn't just be one. He had to be able to make more, to make lots and lots of them. So he went to one toy company after another, and the word no flowed again and again. But finally, one company said yes, it planned to make his water gun. Finally. Whoosh. Kids everywhere agreed that, wow, Lonnie's water gun, called the Super Soaker, became a smash hit. In no time, there were Super Soakers in backyards and on beaches, parks and playgrounds, and each sale of a Super Soaker put a little money into Lonnie's pocket. All those hours, all those years that Lonnie spent in his workshop had paid off big time. Now he could afford to do just about anything he wanted. So what did Lonnie do? He got a bigger workshop, which is where you'll find him today. Because facing challenges and solving problems and building things, that's just what Lonnie Johnson loves to do. And his ideas just keep on flowing. The end. Thanks for joining me. Sorry this was late. See you tomorrow for church.